DreAllDay.com.
What's good, everybody? Dre Baldwin with DreAllDay.com. What I want to talk about here today for you athletes, specifically you basketball players, that's the sport that I come from, is your track record. And we're going to talk a little bit about some other things too. And one of the things that I've always stressed to athletes, when it comes to working on your games, I started this whole thing, this brand, this company, work on your game, this whole mentality that goes around working on your game, the philosophy of training, getting better, doing what you got to do, maximizing your physical skills, your mental skills, and putting it all together to get to where you got to go. Is that the message kind of got lost in translation somewhere between, over the last 10 years, the message got lost in translation to where people seem to put more value in doing the work, working on your game, or showing people that you're working on your game, as opposed to the actual results of working on your game. See, when I first started putting videos online, what I was doing was not, let me do all this training and then put it online and just show off, how much I train, and maybe people will start knowing me, maybe I could build a brand and get famous off of that. That wasn't the purpose. I was putting the videos online really just for myself, so I could watch them. But then people saw them and nobody else was doing it. This was a brand new thing that I started putting videos online, and people was like, man, what, can you show more videos of you training? Because I could use that as a guide for myself to get better. And then people start asking me about the mental stuff, and I started talking about it, and then it became what it became. But people got to understand, when I was in the gym working on my game and doing those things, I was doing that so I could get my next playing job. I was getting ready for my next opportunity to go play overseas, or I was going to try out for what was then called the D League, or whatever I was going to do professionally. I was trying to build my track record, and the training wasn't part of my track record. The training was just the preparation that I had to do, so when I got an opportunity to build on my track record, to extend my track record, then I could do it. But now, it seems, and I may be completely wrong about this, but from what I've seen or what I hear from people who come to me and tell me things or ask me things, a lot of people who they get to this means. The training is a means to an end, right? They get to the means, but they're pursuing the means as if that is the end. Like, okay, let me just keep training and working on my game and show off how much I practice and tell people how hard they got to work if they want to make it in basketball. And this is coming from people who haven't done anything that matters in basketball, but they're telling people, oh, this is what you got to do. Is like the training has become the show. The training is not the show, people. The training is just what you got to do in order to get to the show. And it's something that sometimes people say to me, like, yo, I like watching your stuff or listening to your podcast and the things you put out, Dre, because, it's very motivational. You motivate me. If somebody had left a comment on one of my videos like, yo, I subscribe to your channel because I want to get motivational stuff, or I listen to your podcast because it's very motivational. Here's the thing that you got to understand. Knowing that you get judged on your track record in life, knowing that your performance is what you get judged on, and then coming back to this motivational thing, I'm not really into motivation. Honestly, I'm not into motivation that much. I mean, even though I do a video called The Weekly Motivation, I call it weekly motivation because I understand people are going to go on YouTube search and they'll type in a motivational. So if I put motivation, maybe people will find it. That's the reason why I call it weekly motivation, because I figure it's simple enough. People understand what it is if I just call it that. But I ain't really about motivation. When it comes to playing sports, when it comes to running a business, being an entrepreneur, just being thorough about what you do, my opinion is, if you need to be motivated, if you're looking for motivation, if you on YouTube looking up a motivational video, or you need to listen to some motivational podcasts every morning to get yourself going, to go to work, to fight through the complacency, or you just not feeling it, you need to be motivated every day to do whatever it is you're doing, what you need to do is get the hell out the way. If you feel like you need to be motivated to do what you claim you want to do, or what you signed up to do, or what you're getting paid to do, you need to get out the way. Because you ain't really thorough in your business if you need motivation every single time you're supposed to do what you're trying to do. Because your track record is the performance, right? And you need to be motivated for every single one of them to perform. What you gonna do when there's nobody there to motivate you? What are you gonna do on those days? Players these days post, let me post online how hard I'm working. I did this training, I did this workout. After your workout, you took your shirt off and you took your shoes off, and you take a picture of the shoes and the socks, and you're in the gym and you take a picture with your trainer or the guy you worked out with, like, yeah, we putting that work in, we on the slow grind, these players got better today. Listen, that shit ain't impressive. You think people are supposed to be impressed because you went to the gym and you worked out? Look, you're trying to become something in basketball. You went to the gym and practiced and got better. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the job. That ain't impressive. That's not something that you need to show off. Ain't no awards for that. I mean, maybe it is awards for it these days. I guess people can get some kind of reward. You get some likes or people commenting, and you got young people looking up to you, younger than you, looking up to you like, damn, man, I want to be like you when I grow up and get better. Look, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the job. In the off season or in the summertime, you out of school, you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and go work on your game. You're like, yeah, I'm getting up early, putting this work in, and that's supposed to be impressive. That's the job. That's the job that you signed up for when you said you wanted to be something in this space. I don't care if you run a business, you playing a sport, whatever. When you said you wanted to be something, getting up early, putting in the extra work, doing all the stuff that you got to do in order to get to the point where you can add to your track record, that's the job. That's what you're supposed to do. That's not impressive. It ain't no awards for that. There shouldn't be no awards for it. Maybe it is these days. I mean, times have changed from when I was coming up, but so I understand that the wave is a little bit different. That ain't impressive. That's not an accomplishment. Or go ask your parents, your teachers, your coaches, your bosses, people you work for. How often do you get up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning so you can get ready to go to work and do what you got to do to take care of your family, to reach your dreams, to accomplish your goals? You know what they're going to tell you? Every fucking day. I get up every single day to go do that work. Every day I get up early in the morning and go to work, even when I don't feel like it, even when it's cold outside, even when it's raining, even when it's hot, even when I didn't get enough sleep last night, even when I ain't had nothing to eat, even when my husband, my wife, my kids getting on my nerves, I'm still getting up and doing what I got to do. You know what we call that, people? That's not an Instagram worthy moment. That's not something that you post online so people can like it and say that they look up to you, and you can get the self-esteem and ego boost from people who are, for whatever reason, impressed by that, or at least say that they are. We call that being a professional. A professional is a person who shows up every single time and gets the job done regardless of how they feel. Professional had nothing to do with how many followers you got, subscribers, likes, or whatever other metrics they got on the internet these days. None of that shit is part of being a professional. Being a professional is no cameras, no phones, no nothing. You getting the job done every single day. And how will we know that you are getting the job done if there's no cameras, no pictures, no nothing? Because when you get a chance to add to your track record, your performance shows, period. It's like, okay, I know he's been doing something. I don't know what he's been doing, but he's been doing something. That's what I mean when I talk about building your track record. All that work you're doing, it's just to get to the point where you can add to that. And it's like, when I was playing ball, I told people my training to game ratio was like 10 to 1, minimum 10 to 1. Meaning 10 times I was in the gym, on the court, practicing, working on my game for every 1 time I played in a game. And I'm talking about any kind of game. I'm talking about some random clown asked me to play him one-on-one. That counted as 1 of my 10. I mean, 1 of my 1 to every 10. 3-on-3, a half court, rec league, a pickup game. I had 10 training sessions for every 1 time I played in any one of those games. And that's what it takes. That's the way it works. That's the game that you signed up for. You want to be a professional, that's what you signed up for. You're doing 10 units of work for every 1 unit of show / performance / the audience gets to see it. Now these days, since everybody can put themselves out there, we can show the behind the scenes. This is what I'm doing. This is the work that I'm putting in. But you got to make sure people understand. If you're going to go that route and you're going to do that, and I'm not here to tell you don't do it because I did it. You got to make sure you're letting people know, letting your audience know the same way I'm letting you know right now. The only reason all the training is happening is because I'm getting ready for my performance. It's because I'm getting ready to. The only reason I write every day, so when it's time for me to do this book and I'm trying to get on that bestseller list and it's going to boost my career, I'm writing every day. So when it's time for me to do that book, I'm ready. My writing skills is up. The reason I'm going to the gym every day working on my game is so when I get that call and his team says, yo, you ready? You in shape? Can you come over here and join our team for the rest of the season? I'm ready to go. Like that first practice, they know, like, yo, okay, this is the right dude. And any of you played overseas or know anybody played overseas, no, you show up that first day and you ain't ready to go, right back home. That's a fact. So the reason that you do all the work, again, is building the track record. Training is not part of your track record. Going to the gym and working on your game is not part of your track record. All the practice, all the extra stuff you got to do in order to stay in that position is not part of the track record. That's secondary stuff. It's primary, but it's secondary when it comes to the bottom line, your resume, how people are going to judge you, how people are going to look at you. That is all based on what you do when it's time for you to perform, not when it's time for you to work, not when it's time for you to wake up, not when it's time for you to train. Listen, I'm going to end it on this. Puff Daddy, the dude who, when I was coming up, he was like the guy in hip-hop. He was the guy. In the mid to late 90s, Puff Daddy was the dude. He got a song called All About the Benjamins. Some of y'all, most of y'all probably know that song. At the beginning of the song, very first thing he says on the song is, what y'all want to do? What y'all want to do? And that's the question that I'm going to leave you with right here. I don't want you to answer it to me. You don't have to answer to me. You got to answer to yourself. You got to answer to the mirror eventually. Now, you could do all this stuff that you want to do to show off and have your little fans and people who don't know shit about the game thinking that something you're doing is impressive. You can do that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. If you want to be that person, be that person. But what do you really want to do in the long run? What do you want your track record to say when you're done? What you want to be on your resume? Because it ain't going to be on your resume if he went to the gym every day and practiced. Nobody give a fuck about that. Not the people who can cut the check, they don't care. Now, maybe one of your little fans care, but the people who cut the check, they don't care that you practice every day. Good, you're supposed to practice every day. What the hell do you think this is? You think that what you're supposed to be, you want a reward? You want a trophy? What do you want to do? Where do you really want to be in the end? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to say when your name gets mentioned? Because if all it is, oh, that person worked hard, they trained all the time, they went to the gym every day, or so fuck what? There's 1,000 people doing that. 1 million people doing that. What you want to do? I ain't make this video to motivate you. I'm making this video to really have you, look at yourself in the mirror and answer the question, what the fuck do I want to do? Where am I really going? What am I really about? You want to be about the bullshit? You want to be about the show? You want to be about the social media fame? Look, be about it. Look, that's a whole industry nowadays. If that's what you want to be about it. But if you want to be about having a real track record in real life, doing real shit, playing some real ball against some real players, you got to make a choice. All right, those 2 different games. Which one you want to be in? Work on your game.